Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I have in my hands and ready for disassembly the Steel Will Knives Scylla. That's right, that might be the silliest name you've ever heard. Okay. I'm taking this guy apart to start with. No blade play, which is nice. Actually, a reasonable action. Centering is slightly favoring clip. Maybe. Not bad off either way. So we're good to go. One thing to note, by the way, is that I might not mention this in the review because I might forget about it, but there is a clip, actually, that allows you to hang this on the other side. So there you go. They ship a separate clip, which is some dedication to your sinister folks. So, okay, what I know here, what I see here is that immediately I'm probably going to need to take out this clip screw, this screw, this screw, and this screw. I don't need to take out the other one because I can see the hole for it, right? I can see on the other side, I see through there. Doesn't need to be a screw there. So I can leave the clip on by that screw at least. So we'll get in here and take this guy apart. I'll start off with this guy because, whew, a little thread locky. Take this out. Oh, is that the Red Devil? That looks like Red Thread Locker right there. It's got some beef to it, but it's not so bad. Oh, no. Why is there red thread lock on this clip screw, but the other ones... By the way, the Red Devil there is just a reference to the fact that that looks like red Loctite, like this guy here, Loctite Red. Yeah, I know. I've got it so close, that's a little scary even to me. Go ahead and pop this guy loose. By the way, if you're ever curious about any of the tools I'm using, although actually I don't think this one's in it, but nonetheless, if you're ever curious about any of the tools I'm using for this or any other disassembly, go to nickshabazz.com/tools, and this is AT8 up here at the front. Pop that loose, and it's disassembling itself in my hand, so there you go. Just let it. Past a certain point, if you notice the knife is disassembling itself, then just jump for it. Yeet. And get out the way. Alrighty, where did the pivots go? Bro, there's a pivot screw around here. Oh, it's still attached to my driver. Okay, there you go. Easy peasy, lemon freaking squeezy. All right, let's go on ahead and, I'm loving the non-Americans. Lemon squeezy, what's he talking about? That is what we have as an idiom here locally for something that is straightforward. All right, pop this loose. I'm often terrified, actually, that there are people who are not native speakers of the English language who are learning English in some part from my videos. They are going to come away with this and have a okay, Teflon washer wrapped around the outside of the pivot. That is likely to shorten it up just a little tiny bit because the pivot was a little bit too long, and it's easier to put in a Teflon washer than to machine off the end of that. Not amazing, not ideal, but it's a thing. That loose right there. All right. Let's go ahead and this through here. Clean up inside there. Good. So these two handle pieces are cleaned off. I need to clean the pivot, if I haven't already. Probably already have. Let's be real here. Go ahead and put that down over here. Now I need to clean off the blade. The blade, this knife appears to have been put together with something a little bit on the nasty side, grease-wise, so we're probably going to come out of this with a slightly better action than we had. Go ahead and put a little alcohol on a Q-tip here. Slip in there. This is a weird knife, 100%. Absolutely strange. With the combination of front flipper and back flipper and just flip it to generally. Oh, there. It's a motorcycle, by the way. I didn't just let one rip. Oh, loud motorcyclists. Why you gotta be like that? I know, loud pipes make people look. Anyways, I digress. Keep your decibels to your damn self. Moving on. So let's go on ahead and clean off this pivot, and we can move on. And disassemble this as the motorcyclists disassemble me in the comments down below. Alrighty, so let's go on ahead and put this guy back together. I'm going to use a little bit of 10-weight nano oil here. Putting this a little bit here, a little bit here. And come on now. A little there, there. And there. Beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and put that way. Yet another. Okay. What I've done here is put into place the two, which side did my pivot come out of? It came out of the pivot's going in this way. Okay, cool. So I'll pop this in. We should notice that the pivot itself has a D-shaped flat side to it, so I need to make sure and I align that with, so the D shape needs to go towards the bottom of the knife. It isn't milled on one side, but it is on the other side. Goodbye there. Make sure I still got that piece of Teflon on there. I do indeed. Drop my bearing in place. Now I'm going to rotate, rotate, rotate until that is on the bottom. Did I lubricate my pivot? Probably not. That sounds really wrong, so I'm just going to move right on. All right, putting that there. We have a bearing in place. We have... Oh, that's also a stop pin, huh? Or is it? Maybe not. This sure feels like a stop pin, too. And it looks like it hits the stop pin just a little bit. Okay, either way. So we are now ready to put this scale back onto this. I'm going to drop this in place, and I'm starting at the pivot just to make sure that I've got everything properly aligned. Most specifically with regards to that D shape. By starting at the pivot, I can kind of use the pivot to make sure that I lock everything in place there, and everything is aligned properly. I am seeing what appears to be a little bit of residue from the Loctite right up around this area, so I'm just going to get in here real quick and see whether that's coming loose. That could be residue from Loctite, or it just could be bad machining. Hold on just a second. This is a time where actually having a jeweler's loop can be very helpful. And so what I'm going to do here, and can I show this to you guys? Here, let me make sure there's anything to see first. All right. It looks like it's just bad machining. So I'll show this. I'll give you this look here. See right there? That's what I'm looking at in there. But okay, yeah, so sometimes having one of those handy can be helpful, although it is perhaps the most pretentious thing I do on a regular basis, which is to look at pocket knives with a jeweler's loop. Bring it to Blade Show. I wonder how quickly I'd get kicked out. Like the moment you walk up to a freaking budget knife booth and pull out the loop, they're like, okay, you're gone. Especially with a Batman mask on, makes it all the better, right? All right, but I'll say having the loop is actually quite helpful in examining these kinds of things, as well as the watches, which, by the way, you should not get into. All right, going to go ahead and put in these back screws here, and I haven't fully tightened down the pivot yet. There's no need to quite yet. And I want to make sure everything's adjusted before I put that under full crank. This is my fourth and final knife disassembly for this afternoon. It's hard to tell whether I'm more or less sane now after it. Last one went pretty well. This one's going fine. You can tell, by the way, that the clip screw is a little longer than the rest. So make sure you don't swap those around. Part of the reason I use a mat with multiple little holes, so I can just put it in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Makes it easy, right? So, yeah. There we go. Tightened. And we are tightened. All right, and the pivot is in place. Pop this open. No blade play. Way better action. That is a very nice front flippy action, that's for sure. And it's sort of this weird mix of front flipper thumb stud, because it's like you can almost thumb stud it open just fine. Can you reach over? It's not super amenable to your reach around over there, but that's okay. So I can pop it loose, or you can do a more conventional, lighter style. Yeah, that's most authoritative. Look, this is dialed right in. Centering is pretty much dead on. It's, like I said, if it ain't dead, it's it's at the very least quite ill. So this headering is close enough to dead on that I don't care otherwise, and we are all done. So there you go. That was the Steel Will Scylla. We will see whether this front flipper is a good one or a Scylla idea as I do my final review. But nonetheless, I hope this was interesting to you. Have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.